It don't matter, the words I sing, they're just chatter. There's nothing I can say to you. It means much as what I do.
Thank you so much. Okay, I see he's getting ready to go. Let's have Jacob Martinez.
Another round of applause for my sister, Monica. So, she's not my sister. I've there's probably been about 3 or 4 times people have asked me, "Is she your sister? Are you married to her or something?" But no. I mean, there's probably some relation somewhere. But one thing we have in common is that we're actually both NEXTies winners from 2012, which Cliff, I did hear, was the best class, the 2012 class. So, but whatever, we could debate that all night. So this is really exciting for me to be here tonight to talk to all of you. It was back in 2012 where I think my career really propelled forward in this county, and that was because of the NEXTies. At the time, I was doing a lot of work in Watsonville, really motivating youth to be kind of engaged with technology and trying to get them inspired to pursue technology careers. And it was that evening when I went on stage and I talked about my work that I think that was the launching point of what I'm here to talk about tonight, the Digital Nest. And it was meeting all these other NEXTies winners that I think play an important role in the Digital Nest, which I'm going to talk about. But I could say just about every former NEXTies winner I've either met with or I've thought of ideas with or tried to develop new projects with. And that's what I think NEXTies is about. It's really allowing people to make connections that weren't really there in the beginning or weren't bringing people together. And so I'm really excited to hear who the new winners are this year, to kind of continue that kind of growth. And speaking on that, it was the Digital Nest is just going to be a new technology center in Watsonville. I was actually sitting in Grind Out Hunger with Danny one day, and Grind Out Hunger is his nonprofit that he's the executive director of on 41st. It's an indoor skate park, and here come all these kids coming in and out. And Danny and I are talking about developing an app together. But at the same time, all these kids are coming out. They're talking to Danny, and he's making sure he acknowledges every single one of them. And they're leaving. I'm like, wow, this is what Watsonville needs. The Watsonville needs a place where youth want to go to, where there's caring adults, where it's kind of hip, it's kind of cool. But Watsonville doesn't have a bunch of surfers and skaters, right? And so that was in the back of my mind. And then going over to the next space and meeting with Jeremy, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is like the Googles and the Facebooks and the Yahoos that I take my students to, that every time they leave, all of them say, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I want to work in tech. I want to work there. And I'm like, wow, that's, what is that? If these workplace environments are working for adults, right, why not apply that same model to youth technology centers? And why not create a center in downtown Watsonville, similar to Grind Out Hunger, maybe not skaters, not surfers, but what we do have in Watsonville is 8 years of these technology students have come through Watsonville. They're tech motivated, tech engaged, right? So, which brought me to the Digital Nest. And so what I'm really excited to talk to all of you about, because I know this audience is filled with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of outside thinkers, artists, social activists, because that's what we're going to be doing in Watsonville. So before I tell you about the Digital Nest, I'm going to tell you about 3 youth that I recently met. One of them is this young girl. She's a junior in high school. Her aspirations are to go to Harvard. She lives in Watsonville, straight A student. She, in the evening, her neighbor leaves her porch light on, so she could sit on her porch step to access Wi-Fi, to do her homework, because she can't afford Wi-Fi. She can't afford internet at her home. So that's a junior in Watsonville. My intern that I just hired to help us out, a volunteer intern, he's a junior at CSUMB. He goes to CSUMB, he's a communications major. He has to wait outside of a computer lab for a computer to be open, for a computer to be available, so that he could do his homework, because his desktop at home is shared by 5 people and doesn't have Microsoft Word on it. They can't afford Office, so he can't do it. The last kid I just met last week, he's a 6th grader. I was working at 2nd Street Cafe. In walks a 6th grader with his grandfather, a very Latino man, just very Mexicano, very, hardworking man. His grandson comes in, pulls out his laptop and starts working. So I go over there. I'm like, oh, you know, what are you doing? What are you working on? And he's like, oh, I'm really into technology. I'm really into tech. I'm trying to get my parents to buy me Adobe, not the Dream, whatever, Suite. But they're not going to give me $700. And I said, don't buy it yet, right? I said, right across the street, we're going to open up a technology center. And that's what the Digital Nest is going to be. It's going to be a 21st century workplace development center for the youth in Watsonville and the surrounding area. We're going to do 4 things in this space. We're going to provide access, so top-of-the-line technology access. Not desktops with broken keyboards, refurbished machines. No, we're giving top-of-the-line stuff. And we're going to create it like a tech company. So NEXTspace is actually, Jeremy is going to help design the space. So when kids walk in, they walk into that tech space. They get handed a laptop, so they can sit wherever they want in this space. They're not confined to these rows of computers or in these pale walls or dingy walls. They could go wherever they want. They could sit on a sofa, they could sit with their friends, they could, whatever they want. So access. Education, we're going to do online learning through a website called lynda.com, as well as tapping into local experts. When I say local, I'm talking countywide, for all of you to come in and say, hey, Jacob, I know how to write resumes, or let me come in and do a workshop for you. Or it could be, hey, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a photographer. I'm going to come in and teach a class on photography. Whatever it is, we're going to offer face-to-face classes for youth. So access, education. The third thing is safe space, right? Back to that grind out hunger model where kids come in, there's caring adults, they want to be there, it's hip, it's cool, and they're around supportive peers. The last thing is this entrepreneurial piece. So as we're building these kids' skills, right, we're going to certify them. Let's say they want to be a web designer. So we'll certify as a Digital Nest web designer. Now, let's say you own a small business, like a little pizza place. You don't need anything fancy. You just need a website with your landing page, with your hours or your location. So we'll get these youth to work with you. So we're doing a few things with that. We're providing jobs for youth. We're building the local economy by bringing all these businesses and organizations up to the 21st century, and really just creating economic vitality. So this is all very new. There's been a great article in the Santa Cruz Tech Beat that kind of describes some of this, but it's very new, very grassroots, right? So I'm trying to engage everybody here, I have board members from Santa Cruz City Council to the Watsonville City Council, community activists. I have people from big corporations, techie people on my board, great group of advisors kind of supporting us, including some former NEXTies winners. But I want to encourage all of you to reach out. It's called the Digital Nest. You can find it on digitalnest.org. There's also a Facebook page, and that's kind of like the best way to get information because I'm updating that. But this is grassroots, right? And so I'm really hoping that all of you want to join this journey with us. It's an exciting opportunity. This is happening. This is really, really happening. We tentatively have a 10,000 square foot building in downtown Watsonville. So I want to invite you all to join me in this, and also invite you all to support all the NEXTies, former NEXTies winners and the current NEXTies winners, because we're doing great things, and we're coming together, and we're making this community a better place. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.